something.
I want
Okay.
Will to tell his favorite story growing up.
Favorite story growing
Yeah,
up?
the best memory that you have.
What best memory?
Yeah.
I haven't got much of a memory of any kind. I don't know. When it comes to that stuff, I lose my memory entirely. I don't know.
You remember
Well-
when Bob was born?
Oh.
You got that on tape already.
That one I told you about. I lose my voice now as well as memory. In Madeira, I think it was, when Dad was making a garden and he planted it all, and he told us all when, of course, how old was I then? I think I was about 3. I was that old. 2 or 3. He told us not to pull anything out of the garden that we weren't going to eat. So I went out there one day and I was fooling around, and I got into the onions, and I kept pulling on it and looking at it and monkeying around, and pretty soon it toppled over. I said, oh. And I tried to raise it up and it toppled over again. And I said, oh, I'm in for it now. So I just pushed down the dirt a little bit and went to the front porch and hid. I'm way back in the porch. The road was slanted. It was a pretty good hill, and the porch, that's how the house was built. The porch was built like on one end, it would be about 4 feet, and the other end there was nothing. It was right against the, the dirt. So I pulled back in there as far as I could go. And and he come home from work and he says, where's Will? Oh, nobody knew. He says, well, look here and there, and they were looking different places, and told, I don't know, do you remember it? He told May and Peggy, he said, look under the porch.
No.
So
We have neighbors
I was right there, way back in the corner there. I was looking in. They were looking like this, and come out. No, he's not there. And I never said boo. I said, no, he's not in the porch. Down to the mine. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we looked all over.
Yeah. So he ran down the old mine and looking around there. By that time, Dad was humbug, one thing or another. So come back up. Nobody knew anything about it. And they looked every place they could think of, and well, Mom was getting pretty well on edge then, and so finally I thought, well, I better get out. So I crawled out. Where the dickens were you, son? He says. I says, under the porch there. What was the matter? And then I told him. I couldn't get that onion straightened out, and he laughed. He laughed like the dickens. Between laughing and crying, he was glad to see me. But anyway, everything was all right. But that was the difference then. When they told you something, you knew what to look for. And that it scared the daylights out of me when I couldn't get that onion straightened up there. But he was happy to see that I was all right, because you're looking down the old mine. Do you remember that old mine?
Yeah, I remember a man that got killed down there too.
You remember looking on the porch?
Yeah, we couldn't see. It was we were way up there. It was dark.
I was way back in the corner. Do you remember Madeira? Do you remember Madeira very much about it? The difference between that and then there in Glen Ritchie?
When Richie, that was the name of the
It
store.
was, I remember going to church. I don't remember what church it was, but I think it was in Madeira, because I was pretty young. But I remember the Ku Kluxers coming out on the stage. You remember that?
That was Glen Ritchie, I think.
I think it was in Glen Ritchie. They come out on the stage, and and I said,
Stage.
Ku Klux. I said, Ku Klux Klan don't get me, Mommy. I said,
Oh yeah, the stage
yeah,
or what?
yeah,
What
they were
stage?
all, yeah, they had
Yeah,
They
their,
had the sheets.
yeah,
and
they had the
things
sheets
over
and
the
everything
faces
on
and
those
everything.
slits.
What do you mean stage?
Right out on the
Oh,
stage. They were right in
platform.
church there.
Oh my.
Oh, right in church.
They were right in church.
Yeah, and
They
they
came right
introduced
in
them. They
there,
were
and I
afraid
saw them
not to.
coming. She said,
They
no.
said, we have our friends here, come to visit us, and they got them up to talk, but we never knew who they were.
I never forgot that.
They
Wow.
didn't dare say anything about them because they were afraid of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Bob and I
No.
never knew anything about the Ku
No
Klux.
good deal. Another one, we moved to the other.
Except they
moved to
carried
the
a
other
cross on Willard
house.
Avenue. I remember that.
We moved to that other house, and
Burned the
Okay.
crust.
that must have been Madera.
On Willard Avenue.
It wasn't Madera. We moved there, and Dad, the winter was coming on. He picked up a crow. Do you remember that crow that was hurt? He brought it home, and he put it in a box, and he was feeding it. And oh, I thought that was a real thing. Boy, I fell in love with that. And he put it under the old heating, the old wood stove. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that now.
May stepped on it and killed it.
Oh,
Yeah, she stepped on it. Oh boy, oh boy, that
It
was
got
the
out
worst,
of the box.
worst
then
thing
it
that
was
could
gone.
happen, you
Oh,
know.
I'll
But-
bet.
yeah, so he took it up back,
She didn't do it on purpose.
buried, and
No,
put a cross up.
accidentally.
Put a cross up there. Remember that? Yeah, May, she had to fix it up. I don't know what happened. I guess it come crawling out from under where the heat was, you know.
She didn't see it.
Yeah, and she didn't see it, so
Yeah.
she stepped on it, and that was the end of the crow.
Oh, for goodness
But
sake.
half of the end of me too.